Welcome back. We are going to look at our next video topic, which is analyzing functions. I decided to break this up into 4 short videos because this is really probably the crux of what you need to know, what we're learning here. So the first part, we're going to talk about solving equations. These are the different questions we're going to answer for the different parts. So let's just focus on this first one. We're going to solve the equation when y equals 0. So let's look at what that means. What does it mean to solve equations? So here I have analyzing functions. So we have solving equations. Here is our equation that we're going to solve. And we did this one before. We entered this into our calculator before, but you may want to do that. So to solve this equation is to find the zeros of this function. So basically, if we solve this equation that equals 0, it's like saying that y is 0. We could graph this function. We can find the zeros of this function. So we're going to find the zeros of this function over the domain -5, -0.5 to positive 0.5. To do that, we're going to enter that function into our graphing calculator, and then we're going to zoom into the correct location here, if I can find it. So I have my graphing calculator. Under y equals, I believe I have that equation set. Now, you may need to pause the video to get that in there, but I'd like you to follow along. The window settings here, I set for -0.5 and positive 0.5, and then I hit zoom 0. Okay, zoom 0. And when I do that, I get a pretty good look at that, and I can see that there's 3 places. It looks like there's 3 places where the graph is 0. That means that there's going to be 3 zeros on that interval, and we're going to find them. So the first one we're going to find is this one right here. To do that, I'm going to use a calculate function. So that's second. The trace button shows calculate there. And I'm going to calculate the zeros, which is number 2. Now it's going to ask me where to look for those zeros. So the first place I have to do, it says left bound. I have to make sure I'm to the left of that number right there. Okay, so anywhere to the left is good, not too far. Hit enter. It asks for the right bound, so I'm going to go to the right bound. I'm going to hit enter. And then it's going to say guess. Now that means that you should put this kind of close to it. It'll do it faster, but you probably don't need to worry about it. There, guess, and it solves it. X equals this and y equals 0. So the answer to our first question is x is 0.321436. I'm going to write that down. X equals -0.321436. Okay, what I want you to do now is find the other 2 zeros here. Okay, find the other 2 zeros of this function over this domain. So you could pause it here and do that, and then check back for your answers. Okay, so here are the answers that we found. The other one was at 0, and the last one is at 0.31141595. Now, this was easier because they told us the given domain. There is another 0 to this function that it wasn't in our domain, so we didn't worry about it. So that's the end of part 1, and we'll see you for part 2.